What is up, guys? It is your host, Matt Triola, and today we're going to talk about the movie called The Dirt. This movie was directed by Jeff Tremaine, and it came out on Netflix earlier this year. The movie is about Motley Crue and their rise to fame and fortune, and from the very beginning you get a sense of what this film was about, so I'll give it that much. The opening scene is very graphic and vulgar, and it highlights the party scene that Motley Crue was in, and I think it really highlights what people think a rock band would be doing in like the 80s. So I think they nailed it with the portrayal, but I think it was just a little too grotesque, and I felt like they kind of made it comedic almost at the beginning. I'm like, okay, is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be grotesque? Somewhere in between. Later on, I kind of figured out it was supposed to be somewhere in between and slightly more grim and grotesque. The acting in the movie was pretty solid all the way around. I like the cast who played the band members, and they did a really good job. You know, each actor had a heavy task of getting in the heads of each band member and shining on screen and making sure that the portrayal was accurate but also being authentic. And that's hard to do when you have such a short runtime. If this movie was like 4 hours long, the filmmakers could have probably dug deeper into each character. So for this movie, they do a pretty responsible job highlighting drug abuse, alcoholism, random sex, and just greed and lust, and how the band members just kind of got engulfed in this party life and they became so destructive as we see on screen. And I do like their manager in the movie too. He seems like a very experienced person, a very experienced manager who deals with bands just like Motley Crue. The band has so much personality that we see on screen. At some points though, I feel like it's a little too exaggerated and it kind of takes me out of the moment. The humor outshined the deeper message of the movie, and the humor helped glamorize the party scenes in the film, which I think was not the point, and it just makes it like, oh great, they're partying, great, good job. But the humor does work sometimes. I do like the Ozzy Osbourne scene, at the pool, up to a point. You know, it was funny up to a point where it became too much. I'm like, okay, you're just trying to gross me out, or you're trying to be really funny, and it's not really working completely, but I know that some people will like that. So if you disagree with me, that is totally fine. The movie does hit hard with how bands have to just go through this cycle of partying and performing and just on a constant cycle, and then you throw drugs into it, and then you have random sex, and it's not glamorous at one point, and it becomes destructive. So the movie does convey an important message that all this stuff is too much sometimes, and in excess it's bad. Another important message in the film is family and the lack of family, and the importance of trying to keep a family together. Each band member has their own dark past that the filmmakers show a little bit of. I mean, everybody has some bit of a rough history, and that is fine. I think the movie does a good job showing that a little bit, and some characters more than others, but I think that what all the band members realize towards the end is this message of family. I think it's important, you know? There's some pretty heavy-hitting moments in the film that just change the tone. They're needed, but sometimes I felt like the switch in tone was a little too fast and abrupt. Again, they only had so much amount of time to tell this entire story, and overall they did a pretty good job. They had to get to the ending somehow. The movie ends on a very optimistic note. You know, the characters have all learned something by the end of the film. It's rewarding. One scene in particular I like was the formation of the band towards the beginning of the movie. It was so raw, I felt like it showed all the different personalities coming together, and it was kind of funny at the same time. And then just hearing some guitar riffs when the band was playing together and hearing that voice with the guitar and the drums and the bass made it really cool, you know? It was cool. There were some friendships or relationships in the film that carried some weight as well, and they were sad because when you take away the partying, these friendships I feel like kind of fell apart. Friendships or relationships. The final act, the third act, is sad, but it's uplifting towards the end of it. So overall, I was pretty glued to the screen the entire time. I didn't expect to finish it in one sitting, honestly, because it was pretty late and I had some other things I needed to do, like go to bed early, but I didn't because I was watching this entire film. So I watched the entire thing because it was entertaining. The pacing was really good. It wasn't my favorite movie though. So I'm gonna give this movie a 3 out of 5. It was an average film, but one that I appreciated. It could have been done better. I think it would have been better if there were fewer glamorized scenes of partying, and I just felt like there were just excuses to throw in certain things, and I think they're just kind of inappropriate. You know, 1 or 2 scenes of certain actions things is enough to like get an idea of what their life was like. But at some point, when you just keep throwing in scene after scene after scene of just certain behavior, it becomes destructive, and I feel like you lose some of the meaning. That's just my opinion though. I know the 80s were a different time, but at the same time, felt like the movie could have just been a little more, the movie just let itself do whatever it wanted, and I felt like it lost itself. The movie lost some meaning in showing so many senseless acts. That's all. If you like it though, that's it, then this movie's for you. I just felt like there were just a few too many comedic scenes that kind of glamorized certain behavior. I guess the movie just didn't sit with me the right way. Here and there I liked it, you know. It's peculiar because the comedy helped show the party scenes sometimes from a twisted perspective. So in a way, the comedy actually helped, I guess. I think sometimes the comedy actually helped lessen the impact or lessen how extreme certain situations were. It's open for interpretation. I'd like to know what you guys think. So yes, I'm gonna give this movie a 3 out of 5, and that's it. So please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, thanks for watching.